Hello, and welcome to Star Wars Saturdays. Star Wars Saturdays is a series of games that I run on Saturdays for the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet community is this worldwide group of online gamers who play small book, story games, and OSR tabletop role playing games, although we also have some live action ORG, basically live action online RPGs as well. That's Garrett's thing, not my thing, and it's cool. This is Star Wars Saturdays. Every month, I choose a different RPG. Sometimes there'll be a repeat. Like I have run this before for Star Wars Saturdays, but every month is a different chapter in an anthology, all that's centered around the original trilogy of Star Wars movies. We're currently at Return of the Jedi timeline, not long after Jabba the Hutt has been killed by those pesky rebels, and this is important because we are on Tatooine. The game that are running is Apocalypse World, second edition, from Megay and Vincent Baker. This is the game that started the Powered by the Apocalypse movement of games. Movement, I don't know, like it's like a sliver of a tiny sliver of RPGs, but it's pretty cool. There are quite a few neat games that have come out. And Apocalypse World second edition has been out for a few years now. I like it a lot. We're running this on Tatooine, and it is a very light reskin of Apocalypse World, to the point where you get to choose a species, and if it says that you have a machine gun, it's a repeating blaster. We haven't changed any move names other than I've taken some of the Star Wars expletives and swapped those out for curse words in Apocalypse World, but otherwise I'm running it pretty much as is, and it usually works pretty well. If it doesn't, the coolest part about Apocalypse World 2nd Edition is there's a heavy focus on empowering the group and the GM, which is called a Master of Ceremonies, to create custom moves to tweak the game to their tastes. So that's what we'll do if we run into it. I like to run this game on Tatooine, centered around a small city that was originally detailed for the Edge of the Empire Star Wars RPG from Fantasy Flight called Mos Shuta. Mos Shuta is like a small version of Mos Eisley. Like it's a Mos Eisley that you can cross in the space of a minute and a half. It's kind of town-ish. If Mos Eisley's a city, this is a town. It does have its own Hutt, who is still alive, I'm happy to say. Has not been choked by righteously choked. But yeah. we will find out about that. It was a chat comment. So I am now going to, with that light amount of setup, I will remind you guys that we use the X card as our safety tool. And so Apocalypse World has sex moves and violence and all that good stuff. I usually run it like a PG-13 game myself. But even with that as the idea for kind of the thrust of it, I don't know what may cause you significant discomfort. And that's why we have the X card. So if there's ever a moment where the fun stops for you, or the level of discomfort makes you want to withdraw or retreat from the game, I ask that you deploy the X card. The X card is a great tool to make sure that we are all having fun together. Your fun trumps any canon that exists in this shared imagined space that we have. So to use the X card, all you have to do is you can kind of do this if you need to. You can say, hey, Rich, I need to X card something. You can type it into the chat in our little Jitsi meet. There's even on the Roll for Your Party, which is linked on the Character Keeper, a few rows down, the Poodoo level of things. There's an X card there, which is pretty cool as well. Any of those will all work equally the same. And what's going to happen if you use the X card is we're going to stop the game for a moment. I'm going to ask you what it is that you needed to X card, not to talk you out of it. I will never do that. I've had that happen to me once before. It sucked, and I would never put you through it. Like, why would someone try to say, let's do it this way? No, we excise it from our play. Okay, so the thing that you've X-carded is gone. We've got 5 really sharp folks here. We will find something else. It's not going to be an impediment or a block to our play at all. All it's going to do is allow you to kind of re-engage. And then the last thing I'll say about X-card before we move on is that if something seems a little hinky at first, and you're like, I'm going to let it ride, and then a few minutes in, you're like, ooh, okay, this is seriously causing me issues. It could even be a person's name. Trust me, I've X-carded a person's name before. And so you just X-card it then. You have not obviated the ability to use the X-card just because you let it ride for a few minutes. I'm not encouraging you to let it ride. What I'm saying is that if you've reached that point where you thought it wasn't going to be a problem, but it turns out it is bothersome to you, you can still X-card. We're smart. We've read comics where you retcon. We will have retroactive continuity, and we will accept that that thing that's been X-carded is gone. There's no problem. I ask that you don't X-card Darth Vader. Not that he's going to show up, but I'm seeing, who would X-card Darth Vader? But if you do, I respect that. It's totally cool. All right, with all of that preamble up, let's get into introducing our characters. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around and have everybody introduce your characters. Just give us a couple sentences, name, playbook, look, species, that kind of thing. Then we'll circle back around and we'll do what's called HX, which is where we develop the relationships that exists between your characters. We are not going to meet at the local cantina and get a job posting and then figure out who we are from that point. That's not what Apocalypse World does. We jump straight into a fully loaded situation that we developed together here live. So I would like to start with Joshua. Joshua, this is your first Apocalypse World game. I'm so excited. You've played lots of PBTA stuff, but now you're getting back to the grandparent, because I don't know if it's a granddaddy or grandmama or a grand entity. The grandparent. Welcome, Joshua. Tell us, how are you doing this morning? And then give us a little bit about your character.
There we go. Hey, everybody. I am doing great. Happy to be here. I'm going to be playing Grim, a ex-clone trooper who now just doesn't have anything, like no real function in life, so he just does what he's good at. He's a bounty hunter. He's stuck on Tatooine at the moment, maybe for a job, maybe just because he's a wanderer. All he can do is beat stuff up and kill stuff real good. So he just goes from job to job, but only when he has to. He doesn't have a whole lot of motivation, put it that way.
Nice. Yeah. So if he's a clone from the Clone Wars, that means he's like chronologically somewhere in his 30s, but physically probably somewhere in his 50s to 60s. Is that what you're thinking?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I love it. Great. Thank you so much, Joshua. Joe, good morning. How you doing? Tell us a little bit about this character we may have seen before.
I'm playing Janelle Jantek again for third part of the trilogy. I don't know. She's a Zeltron, very pink skin, very like magenta-ish hair. She's had a storied career path, to say the least, where she was a bounty hunter, then she became an entertainer, then a crime lord, and now what? Who knows?
Yeah, because she was a crime lord in the remnants of Mos Eisley.
Yep.
And now she's here in Mos Shuta and not a crime lord.
Nope.
I'm really curious how we got there. Do you have ideas, or is that a thing we want to explore?
Let's explore it. I have some ideas, but let's explore it.
She
was like, less about crimes. Like, let's just make a pleasure palace. It's way easier. It's what I know of back on my homeworld. So probably not enough money on my size league. The place is a dump, so people don't want to visit this planet.
It's true. This is definitely not Celtros. Thank you, Joe. Leandro, welcome to Star Wars Saturdays, friend. I'm so excited to have you here. How are you doing today?
Doing grand. I'm terribly excited as well. I probably should have also mentioned this is my first time playing Apocalypse World.
What? You got 2 newbies? This is the best.
Yeah, and it's in a Star Wars Apocalypse World, so that's just the icing on the cake. Yeah, I'm doing fine. I guess I should mention who I'm playing. I'm playing Conan. Her name's her given name, just she's given, is Tela Garcenon. She's human. I know, bit vanilla. Sorry. She's using the Angel playbook, and what she doesn't tell, what not many people know, in fact, very few people know, is that she is a defector from the Galactic Empire. Well, not so much defector as kind of just a gone AWOL, I'd say. I'm imagining she probably left right before episode 4. She has been here for a while. Just, you get tired of having to support a fascist regime, and you try to go to the ends of the earth to just forget all that and just try to help people. Although the place she picked, Tatooine, has heated up considerably. She didn't expect that for sure. Didn't expect Star Destroyers to be popping around. So she's probably just a bit more paranoid and rangy these days. We'll see what happens.
Nice. So episode 4, that means like she was part of the Empire back when they were out murdering moisture farmers and hunting for droids. That's fascinating. I like that.
Yeah, she's got a lot on her mind.
Nice. Fantastic. Thank you, Leandro. And now Bethany, how are you? I'm
good, and this is actually the only the second time I've played Apocalypse World, so this is an unusually inexperienced crew for the Gauntlet.
I have to say, I'm disappointed that the Gauntlet is not running more Apocalypse World. We must change that. It's like Sawyer and has been running it. He's been carrying the flag this year, but now I got to run some more. Anyway, go ahead, Beth.
So I'm playing Sundown, who is a Twi'lek and is the Brainer. I don't know a whole lot about them other than that, which is appropriate because I think their thing is to be very mysterious, and nobody knows much about them. They are weird. They are weird in not just the Apocalypse World sense of psychic, but also just eccentric as hell. Nobody really quite knows what they're gonna do at any given time, and they like it that way.
I like it too. That's fantastic. Sundown's a great name too. I know you've mentioned it was straight from the Brainer playbook, but it just feels very Apocalypse World-y to me. Very Tatooine-y, sorry. It feels very Tatooine-y to me, so that's good. All right, let's circle back around again, and we're going to do HX. So with HX, you've got several options. If you have ideas based off of people's description of their characters, of things that might fit, you can suggest it, but it is a conversation, like all parts of Apocalypse World. So Joshua, what we'll do is we'll do all of yours, list them out, and mention folks that seem like they might work, and then people, of course, can kind of volunteer. But I think you've got 2 or 3 options at least, and then a thing that happens for anybody that doesn't get those top ones. So go ahead.
All righty. So my first one is, which one of you once left me bleeding and did nothing for me? Which sounds like some fun backstory. The next one is, which one of you has fought shoulder to shoulder with me? Battle buddies. And number 3 is, which one of you is prettiest and or smartest? And then for everyone else, it's -1, because I find no particular need to understand most people. Sounds about right.
Cool. So who feels like they're prettiest or smartest? That's always the easiest one.
No.
Okay. Anybody opposed? All right. So Janella Jantech is prettiest or smartest?
It looks like possibly both, based on the stats.
No argument there.
I mean, I was a fairly successful crime lord to a point. I mean, I did enact a coup.
So who left you bleeding? I mean, would an angel leave the gunlugger bleeding and do nothing for you?
Maybe this was during her Imperial days.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was thinking either that or because she's really not keen on people finding out she's Imperial. And you're kind of a remnant of that. Maybe it's just like a mixture of pragmatism and a bit of a revulsion as well. Like,
Yeah, because I definitely still wear my clone armor and all that, so I could see that being like a huge, mental block for your character.
Nice. So let's talk a little bit about that. Just so I have some context around that moment so we can solidify it. Is this a thing where you had an Imperial problem, Grim, or do you think that you were on a hunt, like hunting a bounty somewhere in Moshuta? Do you think there was some trouble at the cantina and you stepped in? What are you imagining this fight was?
I'm thinking this was like maybe Tella was my handler on the Imperial side, and there was like a handoff gone wrong type thing, and instead of like helping me in that kind of shootout, she just ran.
this is the moment when she left.
Nice. That's appropriately dramatic.
Yeah.
And maybe you were like, well, you witnessed it definitely. Maybe this was also like kind of this attack kind of like was the one that set you like adrift, or like that's why you're cut off from the rest of the Empire, because there was just like this horrible attack and you were left behind by your handler to die.
I like it. I'm imagining like a shuttle crash as well, something like that.
Yeah, sounds fun. All right, nice. Wow, they were still using the clones around episode 4 then, and we've established. I like it. That is fascinating. Okay, what do we have left? We have fought shoulder to shoulder. Do you feel like that's something Sundown would do? If not, then you can take the default. That's okay.
I mean, I think it's possible. I'm not sure what circumstances that could have been under, but I could see it happening.
What would Sundown fight for?
Yeah, I mean, mostly self-defense. I don't think they would start a fight for much of anything, but I think if they felt threatened, they would not hold back at all. Like completely calm up until a certain point, and then nuclear option.
Cool. I'm sorry, I need to take a break for just a second. Sorry.
Do you think Sundown would have hired a bounty hunter for any reason? Like to protect something, or I don't know.
That's possible. Yeah.
Some bodyguard. Y'all ever work a job together?
I could see that happening for sure. What job would? Okay, so maybe it's a job required both like psychic ability and just firepower.
Probably crime. I don't know. I don't feel like everyone's a criminal in Apocalypse World.
Right? Yeah. I mean, that's that's the default.
Even in the Star Wars version.
Right. I wonder if Janella was somehow involved in this, since
Janella gets around. She travels a lot.
Yeah.
Well, it's even possible that she's the one that hired us or something like that.
That's what I'm wondering.
Oh, okay. On board. I'm like, yeah, you've got like, the Force. I've dealt with that before. That's very useful. Like not knowing, that like you're not nearly as controlled as the people I dealt with in the past.
Right. Control? No, not really. Something's going to happen. It's just hard to tell what.
Yeah, I think that sounds cool. We can kind of figure out the details.
Yeah, like
Wait.
what required both psychic power and firepower. That Janelle, I must have some interesting enemies. But yeah, I could for sure see that happen.
Okay, awesome.
Hey guys, I really apologize. My in-laws have spent the night and are moving some stuff out, and they asked for my help. So let's just it's 9 o'clock. Let's take a 10-minute break.
Sure.
And we'll finish with that. And I do apologize.
No problem.
Should someone set up the video?
I was going to do that. I've got it.
Oh, okay, cool.